The geography of peace.
I guess my ideas come from my human experience, really, my lens of being in this body, in this time. And yeah, it's always a response to the kind of quagmire of human emotions and how I can express my humanity via technology most of the time. Very fitting, isn't it? I say I have a vision of what it is I want to create, but really it's not a visual vision. It's a kind of almost kinesthetic, dare I say, essence of it. And then I go on a journey and it usually informs me along the way. The art form informs me, or the science informs me along the way, and maybe I'll develop more ideas as the piece is taking form. I do the production side of my music as well as the creation side. And I tend to do the technical production of any kind of projects I do as well. So having that kind of left-right brain, sort of hopefully synthesis, dance of those two aspects. And then it's about being open, really. So a lot of the time, for example, making my last album was about just showing up. It was about showing up, knowing where I'm at that point. I might have a little idea that I know needs to be in there, but often it will be by tweaking something and going, okay, that creates another conversation. Just part of it for now. Don't think much, unless I could add.
The record.
With collaboration, yes, of course, it's a different kind of conversation. It's great to get other people's perspectives. It's great to get other people's experiences. Sometimes it's great to get that validation because you might think, is that a strong idea, is it not? And they'll go, yes. But really what you're dealing with is resonance. So ultimately, I can talk all day about my creations, but really it's what resonates deeply for me at that time. We're talking about sound. I am sound, we are sound. So it's what resonates. And I think as rational as you'd like to be, ultimately, it's what resonates for you.
Amazing.
The only other time it's been up is outside my mum's garage. It wasn't wired up.
I actually do draw from Delia Derbyshires quote of, it takes discipline to be creative. So for me, there is a kind of discipline, there's a management, there's a self-management, there's self-care that needs to go into it in order to know that I can be producing the best I can to serve my art form, really. I am a student of my art form, which is sound and music. So for me, it is, again, it's about showing up. It's also something about stepping into the sound. And once you're in the sound, as much as there is all the science, we don't really understand it, or I don't anyway. So again, that's part of the magic, is to turn up and to see and to hear. I say see because I am quite visual. To see, to hear, to feel what that sound is doing as you're interacting with it.
There was those other cheap ones in the case, I think.
Are they still there? I had the experience of being disabled and managing chronic fatigue for 15, 20 years, and that's how I started making music. So I think with that kind of, dare I say, wisdom, in order to be more sustainable, to be able to know that I can get through a whole project, whether it's an album or a commission or a theatre production, to know I'm going to be able to still be on it by the time it comes to performance, rehearsal, presenting that, I feel I need to try and keep everything in balance and keep my head clear. And if there's other stuff going on in my life, which sometimes, of course, life throws at you, then it's that thing of it's seeing your creative time as your creative space, but it is still work. And so sometimes I have to apologise. Making my last album, I had to apologise to people closest to me. I will not be as available. It sounds really like the self-absorbed artist, but it is the kind of role that I've chosen to give out, really. sometimes it's a surprise to see what we end up at, and sometimes 5 years later, one tiny sound will be niggling me that I let it go, and that some tracks are just hard work, really. I can think of a couple that really stand out that was just a slog to get to the end of. And even then, I wasn't really happy. And then there's others. There's one that came to me while doing an acupuncture appointment. The whole of the lyrics, pretty much all the ideas came to me in that half an hour, at that hour, and then it was up to me just to get it all out and turn it into sound. So it's really different. When you're also, I do a lot of work responding to film, TV, theatre, dance, sculpture, a fashion show. So in those kind of situations, I really love just being the receptacle, being the kind of receiver of what is all of this. And in a sense, then I kind of see my role as more the midwife of sort of supporting someone else's vision with sound and music.